Can you believe it's been 35 years ago on this day, September 18th, 1987, that a certain show from Disney came up where its theme song started out with the words "Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg." I think you know what theme song that is. It's DuckTales. It's celebrating its 35th anniversary today, and that's what I'm going to be talking about in this TV log right now. This is a Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews TV log. Blow me bagpipes! Greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to as the Big D, back again with another TV log. Today I'm going to be talking about a show I grew up watching, of course, and it's a Disney animated series that I know I haven't revisited since it's on Disney Plus, but maybe one day I will. But I still feel like I still got some respect for it. Anyway, it was a real big hit show, even though Disney already had a minor success with the Wuzzles in '85, as well as the Adventures of the Gummy Bears that same year. But that show was still being run at the time on Saturday mornings. But however, they gave us their very first show that aired 5 days a week. So now, without further ado, I bring to you the one, the only, the original DuckTales. DuckTales was an animated series filled with all sorts of fun, adventure, action, excitement, I don't know what have you, that Disney had to offer. Disney produced the show, and Band Vista Television distributed it. It premiered in syndication on this day, September 18th, 1987, and featured the adventures of Scrooge McDuck, the world's richest duck, along with his nephews Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and a host of others. Okay. Now, I almost didn't notice the show also premiered on Disney Channel as well. Now, there were originally 4 seasons produced overall. It had a total of 100 episodes. Its final episode aired in 1990. Now, it's based upon Uncle Scrooge and Other Duck Universe comic books created by Carl Barks. And the show follows Scrooge McDuck, the world's richest duck in Duckburg, along with his 3 grandnephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and close friends of the group on various adventures, most of which either involve seeking out treasure or thwarting the efforts of villains seeking to steal Scrooge's fortune or his #1 dime, which I'll explain about that when we get to it. Now, of course, the show was well known for its theme song as well, and has become a big success. Inspired lots of merchandise, including comic books, as well as a popular video game for the NES and later Game Boy by Capcom, which would later get remastered, even had a sequel as well, and an animated theatrical spin-off film entitled DuckTales, the movie Treasure of the Lost Lamp. Of course, as I mentioned, it's notable for being the first Disney cartoon to be produced for weekday syndication, with success paving the way for future tunes such as Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers and Tailspin. Thus, they create the syndication block known as the Disney Afternoon. Mark Mueller wrote the theme song. Anyway, here's the show's premise. When Donald the Duck decides to join the U.S. Navy, he enlists his Uncle Scrooge to look after his nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Although reluctant to do so due to their hyperactivity along with his continual pursuit of increasing his wealth and maintaining harsh business ethics, he eventually warms up to them upon seeing how smart and resourceful they are, and takes them into his manor as well as several adventures. Scrooge is well known for his characteristic Scottish accent, spats, and top hat. We later learn in the series his family comes from Castle McDuck, and he came to America when he was young, learning how to work smarter, not harder. In addition to them, the show features frequent appearances by Gyro Gearloose, an established comic book character, as well as guest appearances by Donald in the first season. This was either a full appearance or in a cameo scene when Scrooge and his nephews read letters he sends to them, and a few minor appearances by Scrooge's old flame, Glittering Goldie, whose character was adapted from the comic books. The show introduced new characters to the Duck universe, while some were minor, including the nanny, Mrs. Beakley, whom Scrooge hires to babysit the nephews, Mrs. Beakley's granddaughter, Webbigail, or Webby for short, Scrooge's pilot, Launchpad McQuack, who is absolutely a really funny character, Doofus Drake, an admirer of Launchpad and a close friend of the nephews, and the McDuck Manor butler, Duckworth. Now, the second season later introduced 3 new additional characters as part of the show's stories: Cave Duck Bubba and his pet Triceratops Tootsie, and Finton Crackshell, Scrooge's personal accountant who secretly works as a superhero named Gizmo Duck once he yells out, "Blabbering Blatherskite!" Now, the show's primary villains consist of those from the comics. Now, among some of them include the witch Magica the Spell, who seeks to steal Scrooge's #1 dime, which that would be his the first dime he ever got. And the Beagle Boys, who seek to rob Scrooge of his fortune and often target his money bin as well. And especially Flintheart Glomgold, the world's second wealthiest duck, who seeks to replace Scrooge as the richest duck in the world. A few changes were made to the villains. Unlike the comics, Flintheart is of Scottish descent and wears a couple of pieces of Scottish attire, including a kilt. Now, Magica, who is actually Italian in the comics, has an Eastern European accent, always saying "darling," which shocks Scrooge in an episode when Magica changes into the form of Mrs. Beakley. She has a brother named Poe, who was transformed into a raven. The Beagle Boys have individual personalities and are headed by their mother, Ma Beagle, who sometimes brings them from jail to conduct schemes with her, but always avoids being caught by the police. The animated series also featured a list of minor villains, most of whom sought to either claim Scrooge's wealth or beat him to treasure. Now, most of the stories used in the show revolve around one of 3 common themes. The first focuses on the group's efforts to thwart attempts by various villains to steal Scrooge's fortune or his #1 dime. The second focuses on a race for treasure. The third focused on specific characters within the show. Although some stories are original or based on Barks comic book series, others are facetious or classical stories or legends, including characters based on either fictional or historical persons. DuckTales is well known for its many references to pop culture, including Shakespeare, Jack the Ripper, Greek mythology, James Bond, Indiana Jones, and even Sherlock Holmes. After its first season, the show moved away from globe-trotting stories with adventures focused mainly within Duckburg. So now you know about DuckTales, but we aren't finished yet. No, sir. Anyway, let me see here. Of course, I always caught the show when I came home from school. And then, of course, there would be, well, numerous things, as I've mentioned. Now, until the show came, when the show came to its final season in 1990, it was teamed with Rescue Rangers and Tailspin, which came out the same year, as well as a final season of Disney's Adventures of the Gummy Bears, which had just been dropped from network television to form the Disney Afternoon, where the show remained on until 1992, but it continued in syndication until 1995 alone, and continued on the Disney Channel until 2000. It would also be shown on Toon Disney as well. Yep, really something. Now, the animation was handled by Wayne Film Productions for some of the first season and later seasons. Cuckoo's Nest Studio, TMS Entertainment for Season 1, and Burbank Films for the first episode only, having previously been used on Disney's other first shows, The Wuzzles and Adventures of the Gummy Bears. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's just so good and what have you. Now our cast includes Alan Young voicing Scrooge. May Mr. Young rest in peace. Most of you know him best for playing Wilbur Post in the 60s sitcom Mr. Ed. Now, of course, this isn't the first time he actually voiced the character of Scrooge as Ebenezer Scrooge in Mickey's Christmas Carol a few years before this. Russi Taylor, whom we sadly lost a few years back, voices the three nephews and Webby. Chuck McCann, another voice actor I believe we've lost, voices Duckworth. Yeah, Duckworth, as well as two of the Beagle Boys, Burger Beagle and Bouncer Beagle. Terry McGovern voices Launchpad and Babyface Beagle in the first season. Voice god Frank Welker voices Big Time Beagle and Baggy Beagle, as well as Poe and Bubba. Hal Smith voices Gyro and Flintheart Glomgold, who I always like it when Scrooge calls him Flinty for short at times. Joan Gerber voices Mrs. Beakley, Glaring Goldie, and others. Hamilton Camp voices Fenton Crackshell, aka Gizmo Duck. The late great voice goddess June Foray voices Ma Beagle and Magic of the Spell. Pierre Cullen voices Bang Job Beagle and Admiral Grimmett in the first season. Brian Cummings voices Doofus and Bugle Beagle in season 1. And Tony Anselmo voices Donald Duck. And it featured a host of other voice actors, ranging from Susan Blue, Corey Burton, Jim Cummings, Linda Gary, Tress McNeil, Howard Morris, Alan Oppenheimer, and Rob Paulson. Anyway, the show would later get released on physical media on video cassette. The full series is also on DVD. You can also find the full series on Disney Plus as well. Anyway, now I'm just glad to know that DuckTales is still a big part of my childhood, and I'm just glad it is. Now, there would be a reboot series that premiered on the Disney XD network in 2017, and that ran for 3 seasons. Yeah, but with a new voice acting cast. And again, during the show's run, it got all sorts of things, clothes, games, and the video game from Capcom, which I actually remember, which I've rented before. I do have the remastered version on my PlayStation 3. So anyway, DuckTales is just so incredible. It's a great show with great characters, and I would recommend this to anybody. But I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, and if any of you have kids, I think they might want to watch that. I think you'll really like it. Trust me. So now you officially know about DuckTales and all that jazz. So what are your thoughts on the show? Did you ever watch DuckTales? I'm sure a lot of y'all did. If you did, let me know what you think of the show in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And next time, I'll be bringing to you a review of DuckTales, the movie Treasure of the Lost Lamp. So thanks for watching, and if you like this, consider checking out these two other Disney shows that I've talked about. In the upper left-hand corner is the Saturday morning TV log I did for Adventures of the Gummy Bears. The upper right-hand corner is the TV log I did for an actual spin-off of DuckTales, and that was Darkwing Duck. Or if you would like something different, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my spoiler-free review of the recent Emmy Award-winning movie based on another Disney tune, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Now, I will we'll talk about that series later on down the road. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the TV log. Then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.